only, yeah, like toilet paper is our go-to.
I love getting my hair cut, especially when there's a scalp massage involved.
But she would say, your body is a temple and you need to take care of it.
We have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, where he just ate garbage. How long was that? A year?
Do this. I can't do this without Cassie and the kids enabling me to do this.
I find myself encouraging myself, so I'm like, no, you can do this. Don't give up.
We got lots to say.
I love my husband so much and my son. I had a baby. Her name is Isla.
I want to see the baby. I've definitely had multiple drinks on multiple episodes.
Loosen up.
It's a podcast. We're here to have fun, so enjoy yourself. So
Go ahead.
we're good, eh? We're on?
Yes. Are we in the YouTubes?
We're in the YouTubes.
Yes.
Oh my god, I have no idea how to do this. Oh, you know what I do? I do know how to do this. Let me go to settings.
I do know how to do these.
I was thinking of a name for the episode earlier. We were watching The Bear.
Yeah.
And it was the episode in season 1 where the toilet explodes and Richie's in there with Neil, who is played by Matty Matheson, a really funny guy, also a super talented chef.
Yeah, yeah.
And fuck, I bring good vibes. Fuck your vibes. Don't fuck my vibe. Anyway, I don't know why, but that one fucking killed me. Don't fuck my vibe.
It's like, it feels like a very authentic exchange between the actors.
That's so true. It's so true.
It's like they're embodying the characters they play so well. It plays out as if it were a possible potential real life scenario.
Yeah, right? You almost feel like you're just watching.
Yeah.
Like someone happening. Recording shit on YouTube, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's audio.
Which I think is like half of the beauty of that whole show, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I just got to the part where it's all new to me. I had begun watching it a while back. Mm-hmm. And I never finished season 1, so tonight was the first episode that was new stuff for me, which I was pretty stoked about.
Nice.
This device is currently in use. How do I change? Rename!
Yes!
Me ono microfono.
Uno microfono.
No, me ono microfono.
Oh, love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, friends, so before we log on each time, Colin has to go between both of his microphones and test them.
Yeah, I've got
to ensure it's the correct one.
A multiplicity of recording devices.
Many.
That's how good we are. You know, depending on what kind of conversation we want to have, you know.
Totally.
I'll use a different mic to capture that vibe. Mm-hmm. Some microphones fuck vibes, you know.
Yeah.
You were going to say something far more productive, though.
No, I don't think I was. But I think I was going to say something about the, like, just trying to hone in on the technical end of things and, like, dial those things in.
Yeah, it's all super duper. Well, that's the weird thing, too. It used to be, like, you can just... Everything was analog. You want your stereo to work, you plug your wire speakers into the back. They're color-coded. You plug them into the back of the speaker, they're color-coded. I feel like I'm sounding a bit boomerish, but my God, it is insanity now. Like, things... They try to make things as plug-and-play as possible, but it also makes it
USB.
Obscenely difficult to then, like, troubleshoot and fix shit, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of other, we'll say, fixes that maybe have to happen to make all of that work as well as the 3-color prongs used to, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I remember the 3-colored ones too, the RC. I was just talking about the black and the red one. Like the two little ones. But you're the red, white, and the yellow. That's a throwback too. I remember when it was a cool thing where you could connect your laptop to like a computer monitor or a
That was
TV.
beyond
Oh man,
beyond
yeah, like
technology. Yeah.
you could have put in your resume that day for the Geek Squad, and they would hire
Mm-hmm.
you. I
Mm-hmm. They were like, you can plug these things in together. That's unreal. Yeah.
And now it's like multiple inputs, multiple outputs. There's you need an
Yeah.
audio engineer. It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, it could get to that for sure.
I know
Um,
a Polish audio engineer.
you do.
I know a Czech one too.
Hilarious.
It's a good one. I heard that one at work a pile of years ago. And the funny part too is that it had zero context to it, but he just came up to me and dropped the joke out of nowhere.
Just,
I'm like, this is the weirdest thing to say. But maybe because it was so out of the blue, it worked better because I was trying to figure out why he's telling me about Polish people. You know what I mean?
right. You're like reading into
Uh,
it way more than it
yeah,
needs to be. Yeah.
it wasn't funny for anyone else, but I really enjoyed it.
I see. I see.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, are you at the end of your holidays?
Yeah, tomorrow's work. Super happy that now that the kids are going back to school, I'm going back to color
It's
me
pretty wild.
depressed.
Speaking of depressed, I feel like I agree. I'm depressed at the thought of going back to work tomorrow. It sounds awful, but yeah, it's rough. I think we've had a real lovely Christmas break, and it's hard to go back when you've had a nice time off, you know? It's like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, because you get out of your regular routine, which is generally a little more up tempo.
Right.
You know, you're getting through the day and you don't have a whole lot of time. And then you're on
Mm-hmm.
holidays and you're like, nothing fucking matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever. Let's just go with the flow. And you're like, okay, no, whatever I've been studying or reading or whatever exercises or yoga, it's all working. Like everything's lining up. I'm at peace. I'm one with the world. And then tomorrow morning I'm gonna wake up and it's like none of that happened. You know
Right.
what I mean? Right
Yeah.
back to square one.
Yeah.
It's
And here we
shitty
are
reality.
on the eve of our return to the works. I think it'll go well, though.
It'll go well. It's just this is the worst time of year.
Yeah, it's pretty seasonal depressy, also.
Seasonal depressing.
Actually, I realized I called it depresso a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I think I'm gonna adopt that as like people have been saying delulu instead of delusional.
Oh yeah, I've heard this one. Mm-hmm.
So now my sub for depression is depresso. Mm-hmm.
Depresso.
Yeah.
Those are good ones. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of some other ones.
I'm gonna stick to it. Yeah, what are perhaps some highlights? I know we talked about kind of what we've done over Christmas, but
Yeah,
what
one
are
of the highlights.
takeaways from this
Well,
holiday?
I don't know that there's takeaways
Okay,
for me personally.
fair. Yep.
I put in a obscene amount of effort to just like be chill
Mm.
and enjoy my time with my kids, and I think for the most part, I nailed it.
Success. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Thursday was the first day I started unraveling.
Okay.
And I was like getting a little bit more impatient and a little less willing to just let stuff go. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
And I think it's mostly just like getting mentally exhausted from trying so hard for such a
Mm.
sustained period of time.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was productive. I think I enjoyed my time with the kids. I hope they enjoyed their time with me. And it wasn't like it was just me. Cassie was off a bunch and stuff too. So we got to spend quite a bit of time together as a family, and we all really enjoyed
As a
that.
unit.
So yeah, it's like the most generic, most boring answer you could have to that question. But I guess at this stage of my life, I'm okay with that. That's a pretty ideal answer, you know? Like the less fucked up shit is right now, the better. Because the kids are going to fuck shit up anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't know which direction it's going to go in. So I wake up every day and I don't know which way to face, which way to panic. So that takes a lot out of me to begin with. But
yeah, dude.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. Takeaways. Oh gosh.
I'm taking away a pretty heavy drinking problem, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that. Last night we had a little mixed drink and looked
A
at
little
Jordan and
drinky poo.
I was like, it's our last holiday drink sesh, like we're gonna no more bevies after tonight for a while. And then he was like, oh man. And then we ended up like finishing. There was very little left in this bottle. We just like finished
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
And I was like, good timing, it's the end of our holiday anyway, so had to go with it. It just made sense.
Are you
The
guys
only takeaway is we bought the correct amount of booze for the amount of time that we were off.
What a great estimate, eh?
Yeah.
That's so
and
funny.
then maybe also um like just enjoy. I don't know how to even word this. Like it's more than just the sentiment of like enjoy the small moments, but just if you have these opportunities to spend quality time with family members, like get as much out of it as you can. I don't want to say the older I get, but like the more I live, the more experiences I have in life,
Mm-hmm.
the more I'm realizing like you get to do this only once, and like I'm only gonna get Isla's third like 3-year-old Christmas, Anson's 6-year-old Christmas one time,
Yeah.
and then I'm only gonna get it one time with my mom at the ages that they're at. Next year they'll be different. Like they'll both be in school. Things will be very different. Like I can only imagine. So it's kind of like this is the last Christmas. I don't know if this is a sad way of looking at it, but it's like my last Christmas where I have a kid who's still at home with me, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, next year it'll be very different. And so I was trying to like cherish moments maybe more for that reason. And then also, Anson was like super into it. Like they're both at super good ages together, the way that they play together and the way that they interact and stuff. Like I was just noticing how much fun they're having together at times.
Yeah.
And so I was trying as much as possible to absorb and appreciate all of that. Like even in the moments where obviously they don't get along 100% of the time, but um, in the moments that they do and they're just like being goofy or whatever, I was just, yeah, soaking it in.
I've got a good example, because I really appreciate what you just said about just soaking them in, because that's what I do. I just honestly, I just sit there and I just look at them.
Yeah.
I try to see their face. I try to see their expressions and look like, you know what I mean? Like trying to
It's like
almost like I'm
hyper
trying to,
creepy if you're describing it. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Like if I looked at a woman on the street this way, 100% I'm in jail. Like it's a
Problems. Yeah.
non-starter.
Yeah.
Uh, Actually, if I look at anyone that way, I'm sure it'd be a problem. Um, you take me to
Except
the
you're,
place where you found the balls to look at
yeah.
my girl. Um, the so bottom line up front, yeah, just not even interacting with them, just listening to them, watching them, and you're talking about it like we're just looking at the good shit. But I was sitting on the couch yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and Olivia and William were doing that thing that you're just talking about,
Mm-hmm.
where they were getting along, they were playing, they were having fun, they were being creative, they were using their imaginations. It's this shit that you want to see. It's just
Yeah.
it's a home run. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then Olivia left to go do something, and when she came back, William, something happened and she blamed William. He got immediately defensive, and when he gets defensive, it's like the Iron Dome. It
Okay.
is it's immediate, it's fast, and it's explosive.
Okay.
And he was so he ran to his room to cry because Olivia was in her room screaming and yelling and crying. And they started yelling shit at each other
Through the walls.
through their rooms. They're just standing there doing it. And there's a part of me that was like, should I get up and do something? And I went, nah, this is really kind of funny. I stopped
conflict
listening.
resolution is
Well,
something.
and I stopped thinking about it from that point of view and went, this is fucking hilarious. These guys are just
Nah.
launching at each other. They're
Yeah.
level 10 in the black, zero filter, just
Mm-hmm.
oh my god. And
It's like internet trolls fighting with each other. Like they're
well,
not
that's it.
actually getting anywhere, but they're just like bickering back and forth. Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
And honestly, it ran its course. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was good for them to just get it out there, kind of thing. But yeah, taking it all in. That was a great
Yes.
way of taking it in. That was not just a positive thing. I made it
Yeah.
positive for me, and it was probably ultimately positive for them. But in the moment, they would never agree to that.
Yeah. Yeah. They'd be like, 80 now.
So what's forward now? What do we have to look forward to?
Oh
And
gosh,
not
so
just
many
us. Like that's not a
things.
lead into our sweet trip that's coming up that we're definitely going to enjoy. That other people aren't going to be on. But
Mm-hmm.
what about the other people? What do the
The
what do
other
the peasants
things.
get? I mean,
The
what do the other
peasants.
people get? Like, what do they have to look
Well,
forward to?
I want to say, sorry, like speaking of peasants, I don't know if you saw this video, but there is a video circulating on the internet. It's the Quality Street one. Do you know
Oh
what I'm
yes,
talking
yes,
about?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So
Garrett, no
our
one or
dear
whatever.
listener Katie, shout out to Katie, uh, shared an interest in us wanting to discuss that, and I'm for it because I think it's a sign of the times. I feel like it's a sign of
Don't
slow, what do
stop
they call that,
the
shrinkflation
sign of the
over
times. Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see you have your phone out.
Because
Perhaps
I've
you
seen
can
I've seen
enlighten.
I've seen very many of these. The one guy gets up
Mm-hmm.
there and he is
Is he
talking about
Scottish?
he's Irish
Irish. Okay.
and he is basically talking about how the tins of quality street chocolates have gotten smaller.
Yeah.
And the tins themselves haven't changed, but the number of chocolates inside and therefore the distribution of each of the chocolates has changed as well.
Yeah, and
Now,
it's
Cassie just got one
tremendous.
for $11 off,
Okay.
and it still cost
Wait, wait.
$11
So they were charging 22.
around there. Yeah, and I thought it was
Okay.
ridiculous, but
Seems like a lot for a tin of like 16 chocolates.
wow, this one I didn't count them, and I don't know if there's like a false bottom making it look deeper than it is, but it seems
Okay.
like there's a ton in there. So I don't know if different markets have different sort of agreements and contracts and requirements or stuff like that.
And gosh, I never considered that. Yeah. Okay.
But long story short, at least in Europe, over since like I think that this one family's been tracking it since 2014 or somewhere, about a
Mm-hmm.
10-year sort of study, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, every year it went down, and there was a few years where there were just really small decreases, like 5, maybe 6. But there was a
Mm-hmm.
year where they short sheeted you 14 chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a significant chunk. That's like it feels like a full tin worth of chocolates. It's that many.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know that this had anything to do with COVID or it's just greedy fucking capitalism. But I feel like most products do that these days. The chip bags have gotten a little bit bigger on the personal side. They're not even bigger. They just make them taller and a little skinnier, and then they take chips out.
The
I don't get it.
grams. Yeah. So the actual gram amount has decreased on so many products. I don't want to say I first noticed it, but one of the earlier things that I noticed that I remember is like a block of black diamond cheese, for example, just like your run of the mill slab of cheese. I feel
Yeah,
like it used to be maybe in like the 550-gram range. Something tells me it's 450 or maybe even 420 or 400 now. And it's doesn't sound like a huge monumental change at all, but it is because they're charging the same amount, sometimes more. I feel like it's actually like compounding because you're losing out on product you're getting and then oftentimes paying more as well. So they're like getting more money, giving you less. Oh, I think I've cut out.
so your audio, there we go. We're good. We're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
I heard most of what you said.
Okay, there's a real disparity between what you're getting and what they're charging. And
Yes.
like one has increased and one has decreased. So like amount you're getting is lower and what you're paying is more. So it's tricky. It's
So
tricky to understand exactly why. Like I understand that capitalism, like there's always some sort of inflation value over time. It just seems it's becoming exponential. I mean, I know we've talked about this before, but particularly over the couple of years where the pandemic was at its peak, we'll say, um, we saw increases of like dollar, $2, $3, sometimes more, and it's bonkers. You go to the grocery store now, you're spending like $100 more, perhaps, per trip, um,
well,
and often getting less than
now I'm getting all
before.
fired up, and the
Yeah.
big thing, especially for Canadians,
Yes.
is now our taxes are through the roof right now. It's insane
Huge.
how much we're paying
Yeah.
in taxes. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's the shrinkflation, all these things that you're talking about. Plus, we can't afford as much because the
Mega
taxes are higher.
tax.
It's
Yeah.
so fucking. Oh boy,
Oh, but Colin, we have
boy, do I have opinions.
HST rebate going on right now. Didn't you
I
know?
didn't even
On
get that. I
select
didn't even get that.
items.
Oh, I was thinking about that $250 one. I don't know
Oh,
when
I
that
don't.
gets paid
Yeah.
out.
I think they said the spring. Spring is
I
what.
need it now,
Yeah.
man.
I know. I was telling my mom about it because I can't remember what she said, but I was like, oh, I think there's some incentive. And I was like, I think it's to try and buy some votes because it's an
Oh,
election year.
yeah.
Um, and she was like, I don't care. Give me that money. I'm going to vote for
Yeah.
someone else, but I would like the money. And I was like,
Yeah. I'll
the
vote for
money
you.
isn't,
No.
yeah, the money isn't without, what's the word? Like
Without
there's always something,
strings.
yes, there's strings attached, right? Like we'll end up paying it back with our taxes that are already astronomical and
Astronomical is so
astronomical.
astronomically ridiculous.
Yeah, it's too much. So, anywho,
Can I share some Quality Street info that I found?
absolutely, yes.
So the weight of Quality Street tubs. This is actually, by the way, the AI overview response on Google. Anyone can do this at home. It's great.
I
You type
find
in
the
anything
AI
on Google.
overview is so fascinating. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it because now I don't have to do anything, and there it is, 100% correct answer every time.
Every time.
So I googled Quality Street volume changes, and this is what I received. The tubs have changed over the years, with the most significant drop between 2019 and 2021. So the year between 2016 and 17, the weight dropped to 750 grams. I don't know what it started at. That maybe this is all right. We found a flaw in the AI. Okay, good. Uh, and the number of suites decreased to around 75. Again, no start state, so that's anchorless data. I will find the originals. 2018, it went down 30 grams to 720, and 3 suites were removed from the tub. 3. 2019 to 2021, the weight dropped to 650 grams.
That's a big
I mean,
change.
like,
How many
come on,
sweets would
guys.
that equal to? Do we think?
And a tub now is 600 grams.
So another 50 grams in the last 3
So
years.
our first decrease was to 750, and now we're 150 grams less than that.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
wild. In kind of like a short amount of time, no? And has the price, I don't know if AI can generate this information, but has the price increased over that same amount of time?
Oh, they have different size tins and stuff. So it looks like 813 grams or thereabouts is the standard regular
Original
size
size.
tin. I'll actually show you this picture. It shows a tin from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and now. Tell me when it's in the good frame.
Holy moly. Okay. The 80s is crazy.
Yeah, it's like 2 of the nows.
At least. Whoa. Sorry, I'm blown away.
Yeah,
That's a big change. 90s to early 2000s, not such a big change, but then you really notice the change between 2000s and now.
Oh,
Again,
here we go. Here we go.
here
So I
we go.
found. I'm gonna send this to you so you can put it
More
on
information.
the
Okay.
Instagram.
Okay.
No, get out of here. So I found a chart from the Sun how Quality Street has changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
The total weight has been reduced by almost 50%. And this one starts in 2009, and it
That's
tells you
crazy.
if it's a tin or a tub, the
Okay.
weight of the sweets, and then the approximate number of wrapped sweets. So in 2009, it was
Buckle up.
uh, 1.1 kilograms, so 1,100 grams.
That's enormous.
Yeah, 110 sweets. 2010 and 11, they didn't change. It went down to 1,000 grams, 1 kilo,
Okay.
100 sweets each year. And then from 2011 to 2012, what they dropped from 1,000 grams to 820 grams, and from 100 to 82 chocolates. So it's about 10 sweets. Well, it's like I can't do math. 620. It's like
Me neither.
10 sweets, 10 sweets per gram. No, I can't do this. This is fucking ridiculous. Someone's shaking their head. If it's 820 grams and there's 82 sweets, there's 10 grams per sweet, right? This makes sense.
Yes.
Yes.
You said 820 and 82. Yeah.
Yeah. So 10 grams
Yeah.
per sweet. So that's what it amounts to, really.
Sorry,
So,
sometimes I start hearing numbers and my brain just goes,
man, I'm looking at them and my brain did that thing. So
okay.
2009, 1,100 grams, 110 sweets.
Yeah.
2022,
Yeah.
620 grams, 62 sweets.
Wow. So yeah, nearly
And
half.
and now we know it's lower again in 2024.
Yes.
This just
This is
feels like
it's wild. I
highway
bet
robbery.
I'm willing to bet
600
that
grams, which means it's only 60 sweets.
oh, the
This
audacity.
makes me sick.
The audacity for $22.
You
And
can't
it's
tell
less
me
than
the
that now. It's probably
price
60. It's probably in the 50s now. It's maybe like 590 grams. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
at 620, yeah. Well, they got to be careful now because they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. They can't take too much away. Now, the cat's out of the bag. People
Right.
are watching this shit
Yeah.
and they're
They'll
paying
get
attention.
called out the same way Loblaws did.
As a seasonal bestseller, I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have much luck if they continue to reduce it. I don't know, man. It's hard to tell.
So I am curious.
And you're frozen.
Oh, can you hear my voice?
Do, 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 do,
Or is it just an audio issue? Am I back?
It was both. You're back.
Okay.
Guess who's back?
So you've mentioned Quality Street is a seasonal favorite, and I believe you.
And she's gone.
Oh no.
Gone again. I wonder if I'm gone for her.
I think when it's just my internet connectivity, it's just me. Back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back. You're good.
Sweet.
You were
It's
saying
a
something about
favorite. Yeah,
Yeah,
Quality Street
yeah.
is a favorite, right? I did not know this. I do believe it, obviously, but I did not know this until Jordan and I started dating and have been together. That people bought these annually, and it was like a tradition thing, and like it was a favorite. Like people, I don't know. I don't think any of my Christmases were like copy paste. And so I like aside from like the actual Christmas festivities such as like stockings, gifts, things like that, we didn't have like real traditions or like things that you would come to expect necessarily. Like maybe make some cookies, do some baking, but there was
Mm-hmm.
never like any in stone, you get this treat at Christmas kind of thing. I feel like Terry's
Well,
chocolate oranges have become that.
yeah,
The quality street. There's a few things that they only bring out at Christmas that are
eggnog,
eggnog. Actually, now that you mention that, my mom
eggnog. Yeah,
always bought
I
eggnog.
love eggnog.
Do
I
you?
love an eggnog latte.
Ooh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah, they're really yummy.
Have you tried, I think I'm frozen again, but if you can hear me, have you
I can.
tried there was like a praline, chestnut praline, I think it is.
Oh,
And then um pecan crunch something, maybe
I don't get too
gingerbread.
I don't get too experimental at Starbucks, the
Okay.
Bucks, as some people
Yep.
call it.
Yep. Yep.
Um, just because I can't spend that much money on a drink that I might not like. So I'll
Fair.
let
Fair. Fair.
Cassie
Fair.
get a drink,
Yeah.
and then I'll try that drink.
You're like,
And
I'll
that's
try
how I
that.
got into the eggnog lattes. But
Yeah.
I think I've tried the sugar cookie one before, and that's really good. And I'll say
Yeah.
this too: I almost always get half sweet because
Yeah.
like full sweet is it's whoa.
It's
Like, oh
insane.
man,
Yeah.
oh
Might as
I
well
would
just
love
like
to.
chuck 2 tablespoons of sugar down.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
It's a
It's
lot.
so bad.
Hmm.
And I mean, it takes like I won't say savory. I don't think that word applies to coffee. But
Hmm.
the hot drink in the morning is like a messenger to me.
Okay.
And if it's too sweet, I'm getting the wrong message. Like it's
Yes.
playtime. It's fun. Go watch a movie,
Yeah.
sleep
You're on
in or
break.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Whereas if it's a coffee, even a latte, it's like it's hot. There's still that little bitterness
There's a
of the
coffee.
yeah. There's that coffee flavor,
Hmm. Hmm.
the coffee notes, and it's still very clearly coffee.
Hmm.
That's the message. Like, okay, shit's about to get real. You're A,
Hmm.
gonna have to go to the bathroom in 3 minutes, and B, you're 5 minutes from work. So let's figure this problem out.
Yeah. 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 Oh, actually, sorry, you just made me think of something hilarious. Jordan showed me a video of this guy. They caught it on their Ring camera, and the husband is like running up to the door. He like desperately has to go to the bathroom, and he's like shakes the door handle, and he's like, "It's locked!" And he's like about to completely lose it, and he turns around and he's yelling at his wife. He's like, "Do you have the keys?" And then you see him clench, and he's like, "Ooh!" Like in a complete panic, because I don't want to say they've proven, but like there is this actual thing that happens where your body, like your brain and your body, know that you're close to
Oh yeah,
home
I've talked about this.
bathroom,
Oh yeah,
right?
I've mentioned.
So
Yeah, this is a real thing.
it's a real thing, and so he's obviously like at the threshold of his residence, and like his body's like, okay, we can like
He should
activate,
have.
right?
They should have stopped the car like at the edge of the block, and she could have ran up and unlocked the door and like cleared a path to the bathroom.
I think he thought that
Or
the
was he
door
like
was
incapable of
unlocked.
driving?
And then he's like, he checked. Sorry, I think I missed his part. I think he was like checking for his keys and didn't have them. He's like, it's locked and I don't have my keys. And yeah, he was like,
Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
I mean, I've been on that end of those problems before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Most notably in Mexico. That
Oh,
was a lot of fun.
that was years
Except,
ago.
yeah, it wasn't my house. It was a public bathroom that you needed money to get into. And you needed money to get toilet paper, which they don't tell you on your way in. So you're like, deed is done, and you're sitting there stewing in filth, and you're like, wow, I guess I live here now. There's no way I
Yeah.
can leave.
Do you think you
Um,
could have like yelled at us? We would have heard you.
uh, hmm, maybe. Never occurred to me. Maybe I was
Right.
like too embarrassed or something, or I was like, I'm a pretty independent guy. I grew up having to solve most of my own problems,
A
so
problem solver. Yeah.
I was just sitting there like, okay, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll just have to use my underwear. That's all I
Of
got.
course. Of
So I
course.
flicked off my flip flops,
I
and
learned this year that you are not the first person to have done such a thing.
well, I'm the first person that did this such a thing
Okay, sorry.
vis-a-vis the
The
following.
flip flops. Okay, go.
Well, I kicked off the flip flops. I took off my underwear, and I was about ready to wipe myself. And
Yeah.
then I had a thought. I was like, man, you're about to walk around a hot, sweaty Mexico with no shorts on underneath.
Yep.
So I stopped and I ripped off a chunk and I used that to wipe my ass. And honestly, I had a great rest of the day. It was perfect. Couldn't ask for anything better. Yeah.
Yep.
I watched,
Just a
I
little
wanted,
extra airflow.
well, that's it. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was, my right thigh got a little chilled, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Chilled.
I saw a ring one, but it was like inside their living room, whatever, looked into their kitchen and out into
Oh,
their
okay.
garage through
Yeah.
they had a side door into their garage.
Okay.
And this lady goes out there to throw something in the recycling bin, and she sneezes, and she's like, "Ah, shit!" And she kind of just like walks a little duck walk back to the house, and
Mm-hmm.
she walks in. She goes, "I just shit myself," and just carries on to the bathroom. And then she comes back through. I thought that was it. She comes back through. And she goes, false alarm. And he goes, oh, your cheeks held it in? She goes, yep. And that's when the video ends. I was like, that is a fucking, they were so deadpan though. It was like, they could have been having a conversation about anything. And it was like, what should we have for dinner tonight? You know what I mean?
Yeah, about eggs or something. Yeah.
It was so funny.
Oh my
Oh my God.
gosh.
Yeah. And she was, I mean, equipped for such an event to take place.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's ready for it.
Well, she had some junk in the trunk to keep the problem at bay. You know what
I
I mean?
see.
Yeah,
There's a bit
additional
of padding.
containment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh man, but I mean that's we don't have to discuss it or ask our listeners to weigh in, but I'm pretty sure everyone that lives with someone else has had to admit to that person that they've shit themselves.
That they've had a poop issue.
Yeah, like sometimes you fart and you're like, well, what a bad start to my day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh man.
Other times, you're sick and you just can't make it to the toilet on time.
I think I don't want to say this happens when, but I think it's more likely to happen when you share a bathroom with someone. Because it's harder to keep these things hush hush if you're in the same space. Not with them, obviously, but like
no, yeah, because now
sharing
you're
it
like
at different times. Yeah.
you gotta like you can't just wipe and flush and wash and go. You got to do a little bit of laundry, maybe. You got to do a little bit of damage control.
Damage control, yeah.
And you can't just. It's not. I don't know. It depends on your layout, where your laundry is, whatever. What resources you have available in your bathroom. Like, what if that's the day that there's no garbage?
Maybe it's a garbage. Yeah, I was gonna say like that's.
I had a friend. I won't name names, but you know him. Okay. And he was over at our house when we lived on Joe Street in Pembroke, and he went to the bathroom, and he was there for a while, and he came back out. He came back out, and he had the garbage from our bathroom garbage can. The bag was all tied up and everything, and I kind of did a double take. I was like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" And he goes,
"Just taking out your garbage."
He stood there, and he kind of thought about it for a second, and you could almost hear him in his head go, "Oh, fuck it," and he looks at me and he goes, I'm going to be honest. I tried to fart and little shit came out. Okay, so here we are. And he just took the garbage out. It was so fucking funny. Oh man,
it'd be funnier if you heard the shower go off and then the person take a shower, and then that whole debacle, and then just be like, "Yeah, sorry," and then they explain it that way, and it's like, "Well, you really cleaned up. Like, good for you."
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
I'm picturing the movie Dumb and Dumber, where Lloyd poisons Harry's drink with basically a laxative, high power laxative. And Harry's at this girl's house and he's losing his bowels on her toilet. She's like, "You okay?" He goes, "Yeah, just shaving." It's just like same idea, right? You're done. Just let her know what's going on.
Yeah.
There's no way to come out from that.
Just completely annihilated your toilet. Yeah.
Yeah,
May
you
never
wish
recover.
it was a sink. It can't. It's now got trauma.
Good times, good times. I'm making notes. So I don't want to go back to shrinkflation or anything, but I'm disconnected again. Am I Oh,
No, okay, I got you.
it's back. Okay.
You were
What
for
an
a bit.
interrupted friggin' episode on my end, hey?
Yeah, seriously, this is weird. There's gremlins though. There's gremlins. There's probably a ghost here. We found out today.
At your house? Why?
Well, I'll tell you about that later. What were you saying?
That sounds awful. Why is there maybe a ghost at your house?
Well, I won't forget this. What were you about to say? You were going to say something.
Oh, no, I was gonna, I feel like we had previously discussed a subject, but it's gone now.
Oh, fuck. This happens. It's so fleeting, and I apologize.
So fleeting, yeah. This is what the
I've been
episode
there,
title should be. So fleeting.
So fleeting. I was sitting on the couch today. We were watching The Bear, like I said, and we have there's two pictures, one above the TV and one in the hall, and they're facing the same direction. And from where I was sitting, they're roughly the same height, and they were both askew by the same amount. And I don't know why I noticed it, but I pointed it out because I had just adjusted one of them yesterday, so it was fresh in my mind. I was like, this is a new askew. This was not askewed.
It's freshly
yesterday.
askewed. Yeah,
it's freshly askewed. It's been freshly skewered. And Cassie, we have the antique hutch, the china hutch in our dining room, and she said that it came from a home where the lady died in the home. I don't know the circumstances. I'm trying to remember because Cassie just told me this like an hour ago. And this is what it was. The house was near a railroad that this lady died in. And I was like, would a fucking train go through her house or something like that? Ooh. But because of the railroad, the pictures in her home were always askew. So Cassie's mom went to a psychic who said that there's all this information came from the psychic who said all this. So the idea, and I'm not kidding, and this is likely just a coincidence, but they were askew the exact same angle. Like it was like, I'm sure you could have used a laser level. It might have been off by 1 or 2 degrees. But
you're trying to like measure it out. Yeah. You're like,
well, you can see it and they seem pretty friggin' close, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not just like a little off. It's probably like 10, 12 degrees kind of thing. It gets a good angle. But, yeah. So there might be a ghost in the house who's going around fucking with her photos. And I don't like it. No. Because now I'm going to have to be looking at all the pictures in her house from now on, trying to make sure that they're all lined up properly. Because then I know if you guys come over, Jordan's going to be like, hey, fuckface, can't hang your picture straight or what, you know? And I'm just going to be walking into this shit. I'm like, it's not me, it's the fucking ghost.
Well, I was first going to say, I think I might know who's done this because this very
I talked
same
to the hutch
person
today, though. I said, hey, stop, please. We don't need this, and we'll see what happens.
We don't need this. Okay, yeah. You might have to get a psychic medium in.
Yeah, sorry, I cut you off there. I didn't mean to. It was cut out. I just kept going.
It's okay. As we know, we got to just like let the thoughts out or else they disappear, right? Not unlike your ghost.
So true. So true.
No, I was going to say I would have actually hinted at the fact that it could be Jordan who has been skewing photos because he very famously skewed photos at Broom's house for years. At many,
That's
many
funny.
houses that he has lived in.
I bet he did too, then,
Just
because he
to
would have
fuck
seen
with
one and
him.
then went and did the other.
Yeah, like he would just, on the way to the bathroom, if he saw a picture, he'd be like, oh, just gonna tip this a little bit to the side. And then, like, he would do that every time. And it was like just enough that it wasn't straight, but like you maybe wouldn't notice it right away. And so he'd get a text from him like a week or
Yeah.
two later and be like, you fucking asshole. Fucking with my pictures again.
You
And
fucking asshole.
yeah, he did that for years. And it was quite a funny thing.
He likes to
But
do a lot of things. I was going to talk about stickers that he's put on people's cars.
oh gosh, yeah, he's typically the kind of person who debadges a car or
Yeah,
removes such
accoutrement.
yeah from a vehicle, not adding on. So it's really not his lane, if you will.
Yeah, and it's funny too because there's only a certain amount of fucking with him that he can tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering what the overlap is of the shit that he does that would happen to him that would just drive him fucking insane and actually piss him
Ooh.
off. You know what I mean? Because I
Mm-hmm.
think putting a sticker on his window would probably upset him,
Yes.
especially if it was just a little crooked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see that shit from a mile away too. He's got laser level eyes. It's bizarre.
Yeah, he's like, that's crooked. I'm like,
Yeah, he's got a tractor beam or something going on. I don't know what it is, but he can just tell. And then once he sees it, he'll never not notice it, and he'll
mm-hmm.
point it out to you every chance he gets, no matter how much
Mm-hmm.
you ask him to stop. Just ask,
He's
just
very
ask our
thorough.
other friend.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the things I like most about him.
Yeah, that you're
Um,
not his target.
I don't know if I would say that. Trying to think of examples.
No,
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
suppose
you.
I could talk about our organizational success of the break over Christmas break because Jordan was talking to you about this, that we like created this storage rack and the bins slide on and off, and it's a very, very well put together and everything. But exactly to your point, he put a lot of thought and detail into putting it together, right? So it's yeah, I think before this went up, the state of our previous organizational structure, which was like just piles of bins, um, would have been a target, but it's vastly improved now. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 'cause he would get quite frustrated. He'd be like, "Oh, I can't find this fucking thing, and we know it's in a bin, but which bin? Ah, I don't know."
So
So,
so 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 now the way to fuck with him is just move the labels on the bins.
oh God,
Yeah, it's like
that
putting
would fuck with
CDs in
me
the
too,
wrong
though.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
God.
collateral damage. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, it must have been the kids.
That's so fucking funny. Could you imagine they were involved? Guys, do this. I didn't do it. I
Yeah,
swear to God.
Anson couldn't. He's like too. He's too lawful,
The firstborns are always too lawful. William, like, can't stand the thought of breaking a rule.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it makes him physically
It's
sick.
wild.
And Olivia, oddly enough, gets physically sick following the rules.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really, really interesting dynamic here.
Yeah, Isla has that same. I think our kids have the same dynamic because
They can sense the fatigue, and the parents are like, yeah, right. They're not going to do anything.
right. The like today, Isla was hitting, and I was telling her like it's not. It hurts to hit, and it's not okay. Like we're not going to play with you. We're not going to play with somebody who hits. So you can hang out over here and take a break. And I was like, you can go upstairs and punch a pillow. And like, I gave her multiple options of things she could do. And I was like, once you're calmed down, come back and play. But until then, no go, buddy. Like, I think the line that I heard that's a good one is like, it's not safe to play with you right now.
Ooh,
Because you're trying to like teach them that their actions make people feel a certain way.
I'm
I
going
don't know
to
if it's the right or wrong thing, but I'm trying to help her understand. Because I'm also like, well, do you like being hit? And she's like, well, no. I'm like, okay, so let's not hit other people because they're not going to want to play with us if we're hitting them for no reason. Um,
gonna
anyway, and she just kept coming downstairs, and I was like, I just carry her back up and be like, give her the same speech in different words, and then go back downstairs. And then after the third time, Jordan was just like, you stay here. And she was just like, okay. Like, she takes him very seriously.
yeah. There's the voice you got to use sometimes. Like, okay, well, we're done fucking around.
Dad voice, yeah.
You got to. You said you're unsafe right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I just thought of Top Gun where he goes, "You're dangerous, Maverick." So now I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna say. You're
You're
dangerous, Olivia.
dangerous.
You're
Yeah.
dangerous, Olivia. Nobody wants to
I
play with
feel
you. You're
like,
dangerous.
mm-hmm.
Will that breed a criminal? Do you think? You think that'll be a problem?
No. So, well, the criminal that immediately comes to mind, developmental, whatever, um, like I don't want to say murderers, but people who like plot and kill, murderer and serial killers. I don't know. They've. I was watching a doc, and like the common denominator in all these kids, um, sorry, in all of their lives as kids, they were abused,
Mm-hmm.
like either heavily physically abused or beyond, like sexually abused. And it just seemed like that was part of the recipe. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of other, like, major neglect, getting involved with the wrong people, just like so many factors. But the sort of the one prevailing factor I noticed was like heavy abuse. And
Speaking of
well,
heavy abuse,
I'm just saying, like, our kids don't experience that, so I feel like they'll
ah,
be
yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. We're good. We're good. We
I think
watched
so. Yeah.
after you recommended it. We watched the Menendez one on Netflix.
Oh, what'd you think?
Oh man, that was fucking insane.
It's really like it's a polarizing story because you're like, they did that and this is why, and you're like, but like, how do I feel about all this at the end? Yeah, it's very
I think
perplexing.
I don't. We listen and we don't judge. I
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I watched it and there's just something about their faces that's makes you think that they're bad people.
Right, they look very
They
harsh.
they look scheming, mischievous, conniving. They look untrustworthy.
Yes.
Um, and I mean, it just turns it's weird because I feel like given the nature of why people know them, it's difficult to not see them sort of like that anyway. So I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if in different circumstances you would look at them and think, oh wow, that's just like a normal looking kid, right? But
Mm-hmm.
um, I knew right away it was going to be an abuse thing.
Okay.
I just didn't
What
think it
was
was going to.
kind of the telltale?
Well, I kind of, in my mind, it was like a logical thing. I didn't think there was any, and this was at the beginning. I was like, they don't want for anything. There's only, I don't know, there's only one reason that two people are going to kill their parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've, it's the manifestation of pure evil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was a lot of other things that they could have done. I think a lot of the things they said about themselves and about each other
Mm-hmm.
are untrue. They both basically, Lyle, the older one, takes responsibility for everything because he didn't protect his little brother, and he didn't tell anyone else. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
his little
Yeah.
brother takes full responsibility because he's the one who couldn't take it anymore and said, "We got to do something." Um,
And he feels like he not orchestrated, but like
got the ball
initiated
rolling,
the.
yeah. And honestly, the point to that, and I mean, I hope this is what people hear when if they watch this kind of thing, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's really a terrible story to have to listen to. It's
Mm-hmm.
really it's brutal. It's uncomfortable. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that they did it is a really that they uh, put it out there as a documentary to watch. I think it's important because people need to know that the way you're perceiving things right now, if you're a victim of this kind of abuse or any kind of abuse,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're thinking is wrong. You're thinking that
Yeah.
there's no one I can talk to, that this is going to
No
last
way out of this
forever. You know what I mean?
situation. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was the big part of the show was, they essentially admitted immediately that they did it. And the part of the show, the I guess the point of the show, the point of the trial, really, not the show. The point of the trial was to determine whether or not it was um uh murder, like first degree murder or
Mm-hmm.
manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Because just for context, if you haven't seen it, they got all fucking riled up and they confronted their parents, and the response that they received from their parents made them feel like their lives were imminently at risk. And
Yeah.
so they had kind of prepared for this to happen. They just
Yeah.
hadn't expected it to happen so soon. And so it kind of feels like a crime of passion. And the cool thing, I mean, you get a little glimpse behind the judicial side of the house too. They talked about, I can't remember the word that they used, like reasonable and unreasonable murder or something like that. Like,
Okay.
and this was like the differentiation between manslaughter and murder, but it
Mm-hmm.
was honestly thinking that your life is in danger, and then
Yeah.
also your life is in danger, and then
Yeah.
honestly thinking that your life is in danger, but your life is not actually in danger. uh,
Right.
so it's a nuanced thing that and it's kind of, this is where I get upset, because that differentiation only matters in a court of law.
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that anyone who does that to children should be shot in the fucking face, to be quite honest.
I mean,
I have
my
zero.
mom's dad was a police officer, and he like explicit, like almost word for word, said what you just said, and like, and then some. Um, he was just like, I think that there's no cure for that at all.
Well, talking about hanging out with
And
their
I don't know
kids,
if that's true or
I
not,
was sitting
but
there like the day after we'd
yeah.
watched it, and I was playing with William. Sorry, you cut off. I may have stepped on you there.
Oh, that's okay.
I was like, man, William's 7. This is how old Lyle was when his dad started abusing him.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, I can't imagine.
You get
And that's,
like out of your skin, like you want to crawl out of your skin.
yeah,
It's
you
like
feel like
so
you just did
disgusting.
abuse them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
by that thought occurring.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but, long story short, oh, Livy's upstairs wailing.
I'm hearing screaming. Do you need
This,
to attend?
no, Cassie's
Okay.
up there. This honestly happens. She gets like weird dreams occasionally, and she wakes up crying. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should ever have to suffer that way. Suffering is an innate part of this experience here on Earth, but that kind of suffering is not. And
Correct. Yeah.
they did also shoot their mom, and she did not abuse them, but she was very aware of it taking place, and she did not protect them,
Correct.
which
Yeah.
I think most moms would jump in front of shotguns for their kids instead of.
Yeah, that shocked me so much. Like when I can't remember who it was, but like talked to the mom about it, and she kind of just like, she was like, okay, and we're just gonna sweep this right under the rug. And I was like, can you imagine? I'd be like, pardon the fuck me, like we were getting the fuck out of here immediately, and like every person that I can get in touch with in the law is going to be alerted immediately. Like, it just, are you fucking kidding me?
And you know what the interesting thing is too is these guys are, you know, I think they're in a better place now mentally. I'm sure they've received the help that they need. They both received.
I don't want to say ironically enough, but yeah, the institution that they are now in has probably provided them with a lot of
But
opportunity, weirdly enough.
and that's what the institution's supposed to do, right?
Right.
It's supposed to rehabilitate.
Yeah.
And I mean, these guys don't need rehabilitation from the criminal sense. They need rehabilitation from the mental health sense. And
Yeah.
I hate that they had to, you know, this prosecution lady, she pissed me off. She's like, I get that you have a job and you're representing the state and the law and all this kind of
Is
stuff.
she the one who also simultaneously said that the parents deserved to die?
Probably, maybe,
I
I
feel
can't
like she
remember.
said something along the lines of like, he, like, especially the dad, obviously, but she was just like, the fact that this murder took place, like, is righteous
I get
in that
confused
sense.
because
But maybe it was another person,
well,
and I'm
they showed her
conflating.
enough, like when they made the documentary. So like
Okay.
now, and they showed
Yeah.
a bunch from back then during the trials.
Okay.
And this is like 1989, early 2000s,
Yeah.
early into the
I think
90s kind of thing.
late 80s. Oh, the
89
trial
to
took place in the early 90s or mid 90s.
yeah, because 89, like late 89 is when they shot
Yeah.
their folks.
Was it August, September?
August, yeah, I think August. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the reason why I didn't like it is because I just went back to the guys, like the people who are either, you know, suffering through or taking advantage of or enjoying the benefits of the justice system. Um, you know, they were questioning whether or not this abuse took place. I was like, who in their right mind could look at these guys say this stuff out loud for the first time in open court and see their reactions and not think it's true?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you have to be the most socially inept individual to think. And honestly, if it comes to pass
Well,
that
and
they're lying,
sometimes with lawyers, like, that's, I don't say that's their job, but the ones who take their jobs very seriously will go to extreme lengths like that and just say those things,
yeah, I've learned
which
that
isn't right, but
yeah,
yeah.
because law is not, you're not saying it's illegal to shoot someone in the face with a shotgun. They shot someone
Mm-hmm.
in the face with a shotgun. They go to
Mm-hmm.
jail. It's we need to tell a story.
Yeah,
And so that they're like, what is the best story we can come up with all the facts that we have and all the evidence that,
totally.
you know, gets us a prosecution or gets us an acquittal or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's yeah. I would I think anyone who does that to children, like, I have no time for you. I would gladly
Agreed.
start like a vigilante group to go around and just fucking, I don't know. They don't even need to be shot. Just kick them in the nuts once a day,
Mm-hmm.
really fucking hard.
Forever.
Like this, just remind you of what you're doing to people. I don't know. It's brutal. I can't.
Someone, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that, like, in the jails and prisons, like, if you're
Oh yeah,
a
super
sex
true.
offender, it, like, with kids
It yeah. If you're
specifically.
yeah, because they don't care about rapists and shit. But yeah,
So, yeah, they're, like, not tolerated
child
at all.
molesters and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get. Well, you know, it's funny you say that. I was scrolling through TikTok the other day, and it was a former inmate talking about his new cellie, and
Okay.
you know whatever. He was. It was a short story, and then it cut off. But you knew they wanted you to go to part two. You kind of had an idea where it was going. But he said, you
Mm-hmm.
know, took care of the guy, helped him out, got him some stuff, and then I found out that he said chomo or chimo or something like that. He's
Oh,
a child molester.
Chomo.
Chomo,
Chomo.
yeah,
Yeah, child molester.
and
Why do I know this? YMH.
he uh he found out that he's chomo, and he's like, so not like I gotta go and I gotta kill him. His the way he told the story, it was just all matter of fact. Like these are the rules of the system. He goes, you're here. These are the rules. This is how it works, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like people don't do
Do you
that. You can
think
murder someone by accident. You can't fucking. And I don't care.
accidentally?
I get that, some people are mentally unwell and
Yes.
they might not receive the help that they need. And
Yes.
there are circumstances where that's a valid defense. I gotta be careful here because I'm worried I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble. But I don't think that I don't think your mental state has anything to do with the things that you do and whether or not you should forfeit basic rights because of it.
Yeah, I think if you're behaving in that way, there you have a level of comprehension that is very clear. Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you don't have that level of comprehension for other reasons, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's no room for you at the inn.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
going to ask you to move along, and you might not like where we send you. Oh, you know what?
Mm.
I'll take him to the train station. That's what we'll do.
There you go.
Take him to the train station. That's a great way of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, trains are just a nice way to travel.
Mm-hmm. 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 I was gonna say just maybe in closing, and maybe I
Yes.
can put a poll up on our Insta, but tips, travel tips. What do you carry with you? I know that the rules and have changed a lot for like sizes of bags and carry-ons, what you pay for the
Oh,
checkers and
yes.
blah blah blah. But like, if anybody, I mean, if you were traveling for the first time to somewhere for a week and it's tropical, what would you suggest to bring? And I'd love to hear people's answers just for fun, because I'm sure we'll get all kinds of like various answers, what people prioritize, what sort of tips people have gotten along the way. Yeah,
That's true.
have a
Got to
conversation about it. It'd be fun.
crowdsource this info. I'll say this
Yeah.
too. We'll publish this on Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm going to double check here. It'll be episode 99.
Oh.
And
then
it's
we're
the
away
9th.
for what's scheduled to be our 100th episode. Okay, anyway, sorry.
The 9th of January is also my birthday.
Yes.
So this is 999.
Stop.
99 on the 9th. This is, it's like my champagne birthday, but podcasting, I guess. I don't know. I'm not 99.
It's very
podcast
it's very It's very apropos.
appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Well, happy birthday, Colin. I know.
Yeah, and everyone, if you're
time.
listening to this today's the 9th, not Sunday when we record.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You better wish me a happy birthday. Just do it in your head, though. I don't want a million texts.
Yeah, you do.
Of course I do. Everyone loves mail.
Yeah, you've got mail.
I've got pre-celebrated in one of my group chats. The guy said I'm 40 and over the hill, and I might as well just quit now. And I was like, yeah, it's. He said it funnier than that, but
Okay,
yeah,
sweet.
I felt loved and supported.
Great.
Yeah.
It only gets better from here, is what I heard.
Well, I'm getting to where you are, so you can let me know.
Yep.
And on that note,
not much to tell you. Yeah. Toodles.
Bye, guys.